Hello everybody, this is here, and today we'll talk over how I made this design. It will be my Timelapse commentary, and it's like a samurai helmet with mixed with Transformers design. So first of all, start with I just need to create some kind of surface to deal with. So use the curve tool with one of the alphas. You can see the alpha I picked on the right top panel. Use the move tool to add more volume to the helmet. Otherwise, it's just too close to the face, and I can't really do much because I'll start to see the nose penetrating the mesh. So generally, just making a blob, and then I start to introduce the blob with the on plane, and I start to throw these ugly-looking goggles on top. That's definitely not great. But this is early on, I had no idea what I was going to do. So I'm just experimenting and creating some kind of shapes like that helps the curve tool to attach itself. And you can see right after that, I'm just modifying it drastically and combining it with the other helmet. And I think I didn't like anything, so I started to remove everything. I started to delete and sometimes split. In this case, I thought that maybe I'll have the outer shell and the inside shell. I did a bit more volume. And hoping that when I throw some of those details and move them around, that will give me some ideas where to proceed. So I'm having some interesting, powerful organic shapes, but well, you can see that in the end I abolished all of that. I'm dealing with pretty low poly counts, 500,000 triangles. That allows me to add details and remove detail quickly. You can see here I'm activating the ghost view so I can check how far away from the head this helmet is. Right now it's looking rather ugly and I don't really like it at all. But I find it important to show the whole process. So even if I have other sketches there where everything was just peachy and I started with some kind of idea and it goes well and I get a sketch done in 10 minutes. But unfortunately, more often than not, I would spend a bit more time trying to find a theme, a particular rhythm of the details and how to make it so that I can apply to the whole helmet design. And hopefully in the future I'll have time to do the whole suit. And the helmet is quite instrumental to define the style. So once, say, if I have a helmet, I can then build everything else. In this case, I'm using an on-plane tool to introduce a bit sharper details. Sometimes I remove them. In this case, I'm adding them right now. So we are starting to add, so I'm starting to get a feel of this. I can see that the proportions are a bit boring, so I want to make the front face, everything is a bit even, so and the relationship between the shapes. So I want to make, like right now I just squashed it and it's already better, but I think I can end up doing even better, say making the goggles narrow or making the mouth narrow, or any of those can work out to help to improve the design from a more boring detail spread, major shape spread, I should say. And in this case, it was looking more like a near future helmet. I did then went for more like a sci-fi fantasy, like Transformers are, where the details, the mechanical details, no longer have like 100% functionality. So I thought about adding up this some big elements just to introduce something big and something that will distract me in a way. So that could make me think in another way, which it did. And I also like it. Also works out right now is a near future helmet as well, because we have this big protection on the sides. I could even say that at this stage this particular helmet is done. I would say, okay, we could finish it off. Now I start to add these antennas, and then they're looking like less functional. This is where I've started to think, oh, maybe this could be like a transformer helmet, something that's a little bit more space opera, magic, sci-fi. It doesn't need to be crazy functional. I'm fiddling a little bit. Usually I fiddle when I'm not sure what else to do. I need a little break. Yeah, I'm really not producing a lot. Started though, I did a big cut on the cheekbone. It's also good for me personally when I watch it from above in a way that I think, oh, okay, that I can see my own mistakes. So I'm like, that was some of the things I didn't need to do. You can see here I'm started again. I did the same thing like I did before with these side planes on the helmet. I decided to introduce a really big shape and make it so that it kind of makes me a little creates a bit of like a shock wave in my brain. Like, oh, I need to think about how to incorporate the shape, and especially this particular shape starts to really make it look like a samurai helmet. I was like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. And right now the shape is almost too rough, too blocky, so I will need to break it a little bit. Front filters. So you can see I throw some little details to break that. I also like this design, so I think I definitely saved the iterations while I was doing it. Some of the situations they could also be shown to a client as a progression. Throw in some detail on the helmet. And while the face can be a little bit noisy, I know that there will be texturing. I can make it so that some of those parts will be more or less noisy. You can see I decided that maybe those front elements were too strong, so I just went and completely destroyed them. And again, we get a new design, interesting other shapes, a bit more sleek design. But I liked that previous iteration as well. So really kind of hard to say. You can see I'm unhiding the pattern that I had before that I liked. And that unhiding creates this little dots around. They were not planned dots, it's just like a 3D code, almost an artifact. And I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm doing like painting with black material. And then I use the move tool to modify the shape ever so slightly. And that's pretty much basically it for the whole design. So you can check other sketches on my channel and see you in the next videos.